It's bug season in Muskoka. Many people will hibernate for a couple of months, stay inside to avoid those pesky black flies and mosquitoes. But right now is a great time to get out to take photos. So I'd like to share some tips and tricks with you to help you combat those little pests. The two bugs in particular I'm concerned with are black flies and mosquitoes. Most people understand mosquitoes, so I'm going to start with black flies also because they come out a little bit earlier. For black flies, they're the small little ones. They'll swarm you and they'll fly and land on you, and they'll land everywhere, in your eyes in particular, around your hairline. They'll crawl into your hair. They'll crawl between your clothing and your skin and bite you in there. They're pretty hardy little guys, and they'll leave a little red mark, super itchy. So you'll encounter those anywhere from mid-April until mid-July, with May and June being the times when they're going to be around the most. You will encounter them all day, so anywhere from dawn until dusk. Mosquitoes, on the other hand, they're a little bit more fragile, although I can say I've grasped them in my hand and squeezed really hard, and they've still managed to fly away from that. They're going to land on you and bite you and leave a little bump. They're not going to crawl into your clothing and into your hairline, though they can bite through your clothing if it's thin enough. So you do want to make sure that you're covered up. Mosquitoes, you're going to encounter those anywhere from May until September, so be prepared during those times. And the times of day that they're out the most are dawn and dusk. So you don't generally encounter them throughout the day, although you can, especially if you're in a swampy area or where there's water that's standing, because that's where mosquitoes breed. The black flies will breed in running water, so they're by the rivers and streams. Believe it or not, your personal hygiene can have a big impact on how attracted to you bugs are, maybe similar to people. So we like to shower every day, perhaps wash our hair every day, and we certainly like to smell good. Unfortunately, when we smell good to other people, we also smell good to bugs. So what are some of the things that we can do to mitigate this? The first is you can reduce your showering, and a lot of people do this when they're going to be spending time outdoors, certainly when it comes to washing your hair. I like to use scent-free products, so fragrance-free products, and you can generally find these under the natural section or sensitive skin section. So I will use sensitive soap, which doesn't have any fragrance to it. I also use shampoo and conditioner that doesn't have any fragrance to it. And one of the ones that I found is Carina Organics. I really love this brand. I'll show you two here. So there is no fragrance in this at all, which is great. So I don't have all that scent and fragrance trapped in my hair, which is going to attract the bugs. The other thing is using an unscented deodorant. It used to be very difficult to find these, but now it's a lot easier. One of the brands that I use is Native. They've got one that's unscented, and also Green Beaver has one that's unscented. So I'd highly recommend using an unscented deodorant. Because again, just that little bit of fragrance is going to help. Another thing is how you wash your clothes. So using a sensitive laundry detergent is fragrance-free and dye-free, and definitely no scent boosters in the wash. You can smell those people coming from miles away. And bugs will smell you from miles away too. So use unscented dryer sheets, or even those wool dryer balls will help, or hanging your washing outside is another good one too. Your clothing can also attract bugs. So bugs are attracted to scents as well as dark colors. So choosing a color like this, as opposed to the previous sweater I was wearing, is definitely going to help. It's a much more sensible color for you to wear at this time of year, so keeping your colors light. I do also make sure that I'm wearing long sleeves all the time, and I'll do this year round, because even if there aren't any bugs, just walking in the brush and having it scrape against me, it's not going to leave any marks if I'm covered up nicely. One of the pieces of clothing that I love year round is a buff. That's actually a brand name. You can hear them called multi-clava, multifunctional headwear. Essentially, they're all the same thing, and they look like this. This I created this year because I do a new multifunctional headwear every year, and I decided to do one that has a nice light color, so it's great for bug season. So there's lots of fun things on it, as well as my fox in the forest. So what are they? For those of you who are unfamiliar with them, it is essentially a piece of cloth that is a tube. So you can wear them a number of different ways, but the traditional way is just wear it around your neck like that. It does add a little bit of warmth in the winter, as well as some sun protection, keeping the sun off your neck, and of course in bug season, keeping the bugs off. What I will do is I'll actually spray my buff with bug spray so that the spray isn't on my skin. And then also, if it's really bad and I haven't worn my bug hat, then I can pull this up over my face and use that to help cover my face as well as my ears. This just helps also with the bugs from crawling in back in my hair, as I mentioned earlier, which is not much fun at all. I'm a big fan of wearing hats during bug season. It just prevents them from biting on the top of your head, especially if you don't have as much hair as I do. But I will caution you that if you do have as much hair as I do, you might want to tie it back, because the bugs will get stuck in your hair and crawl in there, as any dog owner knows. Anyway, the one thing that I really like about this kind of hat, so I'll sometimes wear a baseball hat as well, but if I'm using my camera, then when I put my camera to my face, the peak pushes up, the brim is flexible, so I don't have issues with it getting pushed off my head, which I find really irritating. So one of the great things about the hat is that instead of spraying bug spray around my face, I can just spray it all on the top of my hat and underneath the brim. And that's going to give me a little bit of protection around my face, which is primarily the only thing that's being exposed during bug season. I would not dare go out with short sleeves as I am now. Pretty much everybody uses bug spray, and here's where I will say you need to use what works for you. But it's also very important that you read the warning labels and you read the directions and you make sure that you're using it safely, and then also however it may pertain to you. If you've got kids, pets, all that kind of stuff too. So these are the ones that I use and that I like, but you do need to do your own research here and figure out which ones will work best for you. The one with DEET in it that I use is the Off Deep Woods. I personally really love the size of this because it will fit into my little day pack that I take with me when I'm going hiking. And I don't find it smells too bad, but DEET is also what's going to prevent ticks. So you can spray this on your boots, your hiking boots, and around your ankles, and that will give you some tick protection as well. So I don't spray this directly onto my skin. I also don't spray it in my area that's around my camera because DEET will melt plastic. So keep that in mind. What I'll do is just make sure that the wind direction is going the right way and give myself a little spritz around. What I use on my face is the same company. It's Off, but they have a botanicals line that's a lotion. And I really like the lotion because I can control it very easily. So I just take a little squirt onto my fingers, rub it in, and then rub all around in my hairline, my ears, and the back of my neck. As well as the front. And I'll also put it on any sort of hot points, my wrists as well, hoping that that scent will then get sent out there and keep bugs away. So I do like that. There are lots of other ones on the market that you can take a look at too. When I'm going out and using a lot of bug spray, and especially on my skin, I prefer to go the natural route. One brand that I absolutely love is North Shore Apothecary. They're on Instagram. Lou is great. She told me that she's hoping to have a batch of this in the next couple of weeks. It is now May 19th, just letting you know for timing. It smells pretty strong, may not be everybody's cup of tea, but I find I like how my skin reacts with this. I do find that it's effective, and I of course prefer to use the more natural ingredients whenever I can. So I do recommend that. I also have one that I've made myself. Somebody a number of years ago gave me the recipe, and I will drop that for you as well to do something homemade. I don't find it as effective as the one made by North Shore Apothecary. Another chemical that people ask about all the time is Thermacell. Yes, I do use Thermacells. They come in two different kinds of, a number of different kinds now of vessels. So this one is more for if you're sitting out on the patio, and this one, it actually has attachment so I can clip it to my belt or clip it to the top of my pack. So the thing with this is it's got a little butane pack that you screw in, so it is fueled, and then there's little pads that go in them, and when it heats up, the chemicals are released. So clearly if you're walking around or it's windy, then these aren't going to be very effective. And in fact, I find them most effective with mosquitoes, not quite so much with black flies. For us at home, what we do when we're going to sit outside at night is we put them on roughly half an hour before we're going to sit outside. So around 8:30, because it seems like 9 p.m. is the magic number for mosquitoes. We put it on at 8:30 and sort of let it fill the area while we're still inside washing up from dinner. And then we come outside and it creates this kind of zone that keeps the mosquitoes at bay. So I think it does a pretty good job. Again, it's a chemical, so do your research and use it safely. Bug jackets. There are so many on the market now. It's hard to know what ones to get, what ones work, and also how to use them. So I have tried a number of different ones, and I'm going to give you my take on which ones I like and which ones I don't like so much. The first, which I do really like and will use at the height of bug season when I'm going to be out and need superior protection, and that is a proper bug jacket. So the one that I use is the original bug shirt. I use the Elite edition. They have sort of two different grades that you can use. I like that it packs down. This is actually the front pocket, so it folds right into itself, much like the K-way jackets you used to see. Anybody young watching this won't have any idea what that is, but so let me unpack it for you. So it really is just like a jacket or a shirt. I'll put it on so that you can see what it looks like. So this part here is nice solid material. I think this one is actually cotton. It comes in polyester as well. So no bugs are going to be biting through this. And the mesh under your arms is designed to keep you a little bit cooler. And then of course you've got the mesh on the face as well. So this is what's allowing you to still see, but I do give you the word of caution, it is quite warm. Now the face zips off, if I can find it here somewhere. So you can take it off and just wear it like this when it just feels a little bit stifling, because I'm going to be honest and tell you it'll feel stifling, especially when it's hot out and humid. But it is a lifesaver. The Elite Edition has different sleeves, and this is what I really love about it. They do cinch with an elastic, but it's a nice soft cloth instead of just the hard edge, which is what the other edition is. So it's hardy. So when you're trekking through any brush, any branches or things like that are not going to rip this material. They may rip this material, but because it is underneath your arm and on your face, I feel like the probability of that happening is a lot slimmer. Another style of bug jacket is all netting. So this is one here. As you can see, it's pretty see-through. It is going to be a lot lighter than the other one, so not quite so hot. So I'll show you what this one is like on. So again, it has the cinch at the wrists, although it's a bit of a different material. It has a cinch at the waist, and you will want to cinch those up. And then it's got a darker mesh on your face than the rest of it. So it's a much easier to see through this kind of mesh than this one. This one is quite shiny, and when the light hits it, you'll find that it will actually be blinding. Still, it's got the zip, so you can pop your head out of it. But my feeling is that if you're walking in the woods and you snag any brush at all, it is going to snag this very easily. So I would classify this as quite fragile. So if you're just out and walking around, great, and it will be lighter and cooler. But if you are doing any bushwhacking, I do believe the original bug shirt will be the best bet for you. So my personal preference when I'm going out, because I don't like to be too hindered, and I'm very often wearing a harness for my camera, is I just dress appropriately in layers that can't be penetrated by mosquitoes, and then use a bug hat of some sorts. So there's all kinds out there. One of the ones that I have is like a floppy hat type. It's really easy to wear. And I did kind of feel like the peak could easily be manipulated when I'm using my camera. However, one of the things that I found is the color of the mesh, which is quite light, and I was thinking wouldn't be too hot. It's very difficult to see through it. And again, it's when the light is just hitting it right and streaming through, it is blinding. So this is the type of thing that I would definitely wear when I'm taking my dogs for a walk, but maybe not wear into the park. So I'll show you what it looks like. Super comfortable, easy to wear. It does have the cinch on here, and then I would just tuck it into what I'm wearing. I also really love this little gizmo, which is called Ben's Invisinet. It just fits really nicely. I use a carabiner and I attach this to my bag when I'm heading out. And it is like a little bug hat, just a little bug net that actually fits over a hat. You are best to wear it with a hat. It is super fine, really dark mesh. So I find it's really easy to see through this, plus super easy to take on and off. So ideally you would have a peaked hat, and then like a baseball hat, which I just don't happen to have out here. And then again, it's got the cinch, and you would just like tuck that into your clothing. But your peak will hold it out from the face. And then when you don't want to use it, you can just pop it up and onto your peak like that. Really nice and light, and not very expensive either. So another great alternative. I hope that you feel this information has been useful. If you have any particular tips or tricks that you want to drop in the comments, please feel free to do that. Any particular brands you love and that work for you. Any of the brands that I've mentioned today, I will pop the links in, or at least the name in the comments, so that you can look them up yourself. I am not sponsored by any of these companies. I'm just giving you the information that I use. And of course, if you would like to purchase a buff from me, hit me up. So enjoy the weather, get outside, get active, and kick the little bugs to the curb.